the first test case, and we read about Abraham's herdsman and Lot's herdsman. But a little bit of background as a start, okay? What is the relationship between Abraham and Lot? Anybody wants to answer? One is uncle, one is nephew. Who is the elder and who is the younger? Abraham is the elder, okay, and Lot is the younger. So quarrel arose between the herdsman of Abraham, not even Abraham yet, it's the beginning part of Abraham's life, Abraham and Lot, and because the land could not adequately support both of them. Even though the Bible doesn't really specify, but we can already almost immediately know when you are a herdsman. I don't know whether it's camel or sheep or goats or what but animals, what do they need? They need pasture, they need green grass, they need to eat something, right? And of course, they also need somewhere to drink water. So very likely, it's something that arose from this. The herdsman had to take care of their kambing, of their unta, of their lembu or whatnot. So, and therefore, there is a little bit of conflict. The land is not big enough. Or rather, maybe the good land is not big enough. And so, there is a quarrel. There is a tension between, first of all, at the subordinate side, but it goes up to the bosses. And the two bosses here are Abraham and Lot. And I think the first thing I like to pick up from this particular test case is the initiative. Abraham said to Lot, not Lot said to Abraham. So Abraham being the elder, Abraham being the uncle, actually took the initiative to talk to the nephew. And not only he took the initiative to talk to nephew, his posture, I think, was wonderful. Let us not quarrel. Rather than, how come your herdsman bully my herdsman? It wasn't like that. So he approached, he took the initiative, and that initiative was a first step towards resolution. It was a willingness to approach the other person. And in fact, this kind of initiative was also emphasized by Jesus Christ. When he was teaching the people, he said, if your brother has wronged you, you go and talk to that person. Not the other way around. Sometimes you say, no, I will never say first. Let him talk to me first. Let him pick up the phone and call me first. Let him text me first. I'm not going to do it. Often we are like that. So I believe one good thing to learn from here is that the initiative that Abraham took, despite the fact that he was the elder person, he was the more important person, so to speak, than the other person. There was a posture of openness. Let us not quarrel. There was a posture of humility. And then he continued, let us not quarrel, and if you read the text, because we are relatives. So he looks for common ground. Let us not quarrel. We are staying in the same house. Let us not quarrel. We are worshiping God in the same church, in the same building. So he looked for common ground as well. And the second thing I like us to look at this particular test case is that there is a give and take. There's a give and take. And these, the words that came out from Abraham, if you go to the left, I will go to the right. If you go to the north, I will go to the south. Very, very important attitude. And more so important, even as I look deeper into this passage of scripture was this: the promise that God gave was to Abraham, not to Lot. Abraham could stand up and say, "Who are you? Yahweh spoke to me, you know. You just tag along, you know. Let me choose the best part of the land. Whatever I don't want, you go." It will be very rational, isn't it? It will be very acceptable, isn't it? It will be something that we will not question and say that Abraham has no right to talk like that. No, it will not be something like that. But we see that word, how to pronounce, magnanimity. We see the magnanimous attitude that was in Abraham. You go to the right, I go to the left. You go north, I go south. Despite the fact that Abraham was God's chosen beneficiary of the promised land. Not easy, isn't it? Not easy to be like that. And often quarrels and conflicts cannot be resolved because of that pride inside us. Because we think we are the big one. That one is the small one. Yeah, and me being the big one, I have the right to decide. No, it is not like that. But Abraham displayed humble magnanimity in this conflict that we see. And it's very interesting, even as we read, if we are to follow the whole story. So what portion did Lot choose? Abraham gave Lot the first choice. So Abraham gave Lot the first choice. Lot lifted up his eyes and he see, wow, all these are the good ones, you know. So he took the plains of Jordan. And in the plains of Jordan, there were two cities there, Sodom and Gomorrah. So he chose the best land. He went there, and we know the story, isn't it? That was a place of temptation. There was a place of sin. There was a place of wickedness. Yeah. So don't think we choose the greener pasture is good. At least in this story, it's not lah. Yeah. So Lot chose something, and he ended up in big trouble subsequently.